Dear students, welcome to the online classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in computer science, gsipucmysuru College, MYSURU. Students, in our previous session, we were discussing about iterative constructs. So, what is iteration? The repetition of statements in programs for specific number of times is called repetition. It is also called as looping structure. There are two types of looping structure. One is conditional looping and second one is unconditional looping. While loop and do while loop are conditional looping. Here it does repetition of statements for specific number of times, and here the number of iterations is not known in advance. Under conditional looping, here for loop is unconditional looping. Here it does the repetition of statement for specific number of times. The programmer will be knowing the number of iterations in the beginning itself or in advance. So that is the difference between those two types of iterative statements. Now let us see the while construct. Let us learn with syntax, flowchart and example. This while construct is called as pre-tested construct. It is called as pre-tested construct, and this construct checks the condition at the beginning of the loop. It repeats number of statements until the condition is true, and once the condition fails or it is false, it will come out of while construct. So students, this is while construct. While construct, it is called as pre-tested construct because it checks for the condition at the beginning of the loop or before executing the statements inside the bracket. It repeats number of statements until some condition is satisfied or it is true. Once the condition fails, it will come out of while construct and execute the next statement after while construct. So this is while construct. Now let us see the syntax and flowchart of the same. The syntax of while construct, first is initialization. First one is initialization semicolon. Next one is while. Here is condition. Here is condition and no semicolon here. Open this bracket and here we can write statement or statement or statements, and after this we will having either increment statement or decrement statement semicolon. Then we have to close this bracket here. Student, this is the syntax of while construct. At the beginning, this initialization, we have to initialize at the beginning, then it enters the loop here. This is the condition and inside this bracket we have number of statements to be repeated for as long as the condition is true, and after the statement, last statement would be either increment statement or decrement statement. Then we have to close this bracket here. So this is the syntax of while construct. Now let us see the flowchart. This is test condition, and again it has two possible answer. One is yes and no. One is yes or true, one is false or no. If it is true, it executes the statements. It executes the statement 1, like that up to statement n statement. Then after this, if it is false, it will come out of this while construct. Students, now let us see the flowchart of while construct. Here, this is the test condition. This is what we are going to write here. Here, this is called test condition. Test condition. Again, this test condition has two possible answers. One is true and one is false. If the condition is true, it executes the statements within the loop or within the brackets. So suppose if condition fails, it will come out of this while construct. So this is the flowchart of while construct. Now this is the syntax. Let me explain the same thing once again. Here is initialization, the first line, next while condition. So this is the condition. So this is open the bracket and close the bracket. Between two brackets, these are the statements will be repeated number of times, and these statements are repeated as long as the condition is true. Once a condition fails, it will come out of this bracket or come out of while construct. Now let us see the example of the same. I want to print numbers from 1 to 5. To print numbers from 1 to 5. Here we know, as I told you in my previous session, whenever we are working with loop structures or iterative statements, we should be aware of the starting value and the ending value or the final value, and in between we have either increment or decrement statements. So here in this example, we know the starting value is 1, that initialization, final value is 5, and in between, if I want to print from 1 to 5, output would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an increment. So here, now let us write a construct for the same initialization. So let me take variable I, let it be I is 1. This is initialization or starting value. Next one is while construct, while condition. Here, while is a reserved word, it should be in lowercase. While. What is the condition here? The condition is, see, I want to print numbers from 1 to 5. So the condition will be value of I will be less than or equal to 5. This is the final value or this is the condition. So the meaning is that this I value will continue, or we are printing number from 1 to 5 as long as this condition is true. And inside this open the bracket as per the syntax. Now we have statement of statements. Here statement is I want to print I here. The print I. Here I stands for the value. First time it is 1, then it becomes 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, here after this statement here, either increment or decrement. Here I would like to print 1, next one is 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look into this here, look at this numbers. Here we got 1, it is plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So here there is a constant increment by 1. So here I am writing here I plus plus semicolon. So this is an increment statement. Now after this I am closing this loop here or while construct. So this is an example for while construct. Here in this example, first is initialization, means the starting value. I want to print from 1 to 5. So here is I equal to 1. It enters the loop here while I, value of I is 1, 1 less than or equal to 5. So condition is true. If it is true, it enters this loop. It executes these statements within these brackets. So 1 is less than 5, yes, it enters this construct and print I, value of I at the beginning is 1. So it prints 1 here. after printing 1, because this increment statement I plus plus, the meaning is I equals I plus 1. I plus 1 means we are adding 1 to this value of existing value of I. So at this stage here, at the beginning value of I equal to 1, inside this, after printing 1, because of the statement, I value becomes 2. Again it goes back to this condition, 2 less than 5, condition is true. It print value of I as 2 here. Next one is increment, it becomes I value is 2, because of this, the value becomes 3 here. Again from here, 3 less than or equal to 5, true, it prints the value of 3, it becomes 4 here. 4 less than or equal to 5, yes, it prints 4, value 4 here, and it becomes 5 here. Increment to 5, 5 less than or equal to 5, condition is true, so it prints 5 and increment to 6. When it comes to here, 6 less than or equal to 5, condition false or fails, it will come out of this loop and stop printing at this stage. So this is how the while construct works. Now let us write one more example to print even numbers from 2 to 20. So to print even numbers from 2 to 20. In this example, this is the starting number, starting value, this is the end value, final value. So here first one is as per the syntax, initialization. I will take the variable as I have to initialize this to 2 because starting value is 2 here. Next, while construct, open the bracket, and here I can write I less than or equals to. What is the condition or what is the final value? 20. It's 20. Close the bracket, no semicolon here. Open this bracket here. Now here we have to write the statement. Now I want to print the numbers 2, 4, 6 light because it is a even numbers from 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 20 would be the output of this construct. So here I can write here print I, and this is the statement here. Final statement would be increment or decrement. Here I can write I equals I plus 2 here, and I am closing this. Here how it works now, I equal to 2 at the beginning, so it enters the loop. 2 is less than 20, it is true, print I, it prints value of I as 2. Next, because of this statement, here I equal to I plus 2 because I want to write after this I would like to print 4. How do we get 4 here? By adding 2 to this 4. So I equal to I plus 2. Here value of I becomes 4 here. So enters the check for the condition 4 less than 20, true, print I, it prints 4. After this again increment by 2. So it will be incremented to 4 plus 2, it is 6. Check for the condition 6 less than 20, yes, it prints 6 here. So similarly it prints 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. Once if it prints 20 here, it increment the value by 2, it become I value becomes 22. 22 is less than or equal to 20, condition false or condition fails here, it will come out of this without printing 22. So it will stop printing at 20. So this is the program construct to print number from 2 to 20 by using while construct. Now let us look into that one more construct, that is do while construct. Do while construct. Here do while construct, it is called as post tested construct. It is called as post tested construct, and again it is used to repeat number of statements repeat number of statements until some condition is satisfied, and once the condition fails, it will come out of do while construct. Students, here do while construct is used to repeat number of statements until some condition is satisfied. I mean to say, as long as a condition is true, it repeats number of statements, and once the condition fails, it will come out of do while construct, and it is called as post-tested construct because the condition will be tested at the end of the construct or end of the loop. And if you look at the while construct, it is called as pre-tested construct because that condition will be tested at the beginning of the loop before starting executing the statement. But here under do while construct, it is going to check for the condition at the end of the program construct. So this is do while construct. Now let us see the syntax, flowchart and example of do while construct. The general syntax will be: first is initialization, next one is do statement, and open this bracket, statement or statements, last one is increment or decrement statement, semicolon, close this while loop, and here at last we are using while condition, close the bracket, and here we have semicolon. The syntax will be like this: first is initialization, semicolon, next loop start from here, do reserve word, open the bracket, and here we are writing the statement or statements, n number of statements, and these statements will be repeated as long as the condition is true, and last statement will be increment or decrement statement, and here close the bracket. After closing this bracket, next we are using while condition. So while condition and semicolon, please note down, this is very, very important here. So it is called as post-stated construct because we are checking the condition at the end of the loop. Flowchart. Statement or statements, and here we have test condition, one is true and one is false. If test condition is true, it executes the statement as long as the condition is true. If condition fails, it will come out of this do while construct. So this is the flow chart. It represents statement or statements. Similar to this syntax here, we have statement at the beginning. Similarly, we have statement at the beginning here, and at the end we are checking for the condition. So here at the end, here we are using while at the end of this loop. Here also at the end we are checking for the condition. If the condition is true, it executes these statements, and if condition fails, it will come out of do while construct. Now let us see the example for the same. To print numbers from 1 to 5. From 1 to 5. As per the syntax, first statement will be initialization. In this example, 1 to 5. Here 1 is the starting number, 5 is the last value. So initialization, let I be, I equals to 1 and semicolon. And here next one is we are using do statement. Open this bracket, and here we have to write the statement. The statement would be print value of I here, value of I. And as per the syntax, next statement is increment or decrement statement. Here we can write I plus plus semicolon. So I plus plus, it is an increment statement. It is equivalent to I equals to I plus 1 semicolon. So next we are closing the bracket. Next one is while condition. So here while, what is the condition here? The last value is 5. I can write here I less than or equals to 5, close the bracket and semicolon. So this is, semicolon is very, very important here. So this is a program construct to print number from 1 to 5. How it executes? At the beginning I equal to 1, it enters the loop because it checks for the condition at the end. So as soon as the statement, it enters the loop here, do inside this print I, value of I is 1, it prints value of I as 1 here. After this, because of this increment statement, I value becomes 2 here. It check for the condition now. 2 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. It enters the loop here, it prints value of I as 2 here. After the printing 2 here, increment by 1, value of I becomes 3, 3 less than 5, it is true. It prints the value of I as 3, similarly 4 and 5. After printing the value of I as a 5, it increment to 6. Increment to 6. Now condition is 6 less than or equal to 5. Condition false or it fails. So it will not, is not going to enter the loop once again. It will directly come out of this do while construct. So this is a program construct to print numbers from 1 to 5 using do while construct. Now let us see one more example to print numbers from 10 to 1. From 10 to 1 here. So now look at the condition here. In this example, I want to print numbers from 10. So starting value will be 10 and final value will be 1 here. So because of this, we have to, at the beginning, we have to change the construct. So I value, starting value is 10, I is equals to 10. So I equals to 10 and enters the loop, print I, and I want to print numbers from 10 to 1. So here after 10, I would like to make it as 9. So it should be a decrement. So here I have to make use of decrement operator. So it will be I minus minus and semicolon. So this is equivalent to I equals to I minus 1. Because at the beginning I value is 10. So I would like to print value as 10. Next one is 9. Next one is 8. So 10 minus 1 is here, minus 1 is 9, minus 1 is 8, minus 1 is 7. It goes like this up to 1. So here if you look at the output here, there is a constant increment by minus 1 here. So that is why we are using here I minus minus. So this is decrement statement. It decrease the value of variable I here by minus 1. So here at the beginning value of I is 10. It prints value 10 here. then because of this statement it becomes I minus minus, the value of I becomes 9 here. Check for the condition 9, and what is the condition here? If you look at the condition here, the final value is 1, so it should be greater than or equals to 1 here. So after printing 10 here, it becomes 9. 9 is greater than or equal to 1, true. It enters the loop, print the value of I as 9. Similarly 8, 7, it goes like this. So after printing 1, at the end, after printing the value of I as 1, here I minus minus, I value becomes 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Condition fails here. So it is not going to print 0, or it is not going to enter the loop once again. So directly it will come out of this do while construct. So this is an example to print numbers from 10 to 1 using do while construct. Students, in this session we have discussed about two construct, that is while construct and do while construct, with syntax, flowchart and examples. Now I will continue one more construct in my next session. Thank you very much.